You are on track for the next promotion. In fact, you know that you're next. Your manager has even said it. Your performance reviews, they are spotless. But somewhere in the midst of all of that, you stop caring about the promotion or you stop pretending to care about the promotion. And if you've done either one of that, you know that they both almost feel the same. I can tell you that happened to me, right? You jump through so many hoops and then you think to yourself, right, is this what I really want? Let's talk about what actually happens because this is the part that no one says out loud. There's a quiet shame in it, right? Because you're supposed to want it. You're supposed to because you've worked so hard to want it, but now you're not sure if you do, and you don't understand why. Today, I want to talk about something that McKinsey named in their largest ever study of women in the workplace. And what they found is not what most people are saying. They call it an ambitious gap, okay? Of course, they have a name for everything. But what they actually found is it's not that women have less motivation or are less ambition. It's just that women, we're doing the math. And guess what? The math, it isn't mathing. And before I jump into any further, if you're interested in leading yourself differently, I have a mini challenge that's in the description. It is an experiment that you can do on your own, and it really helps click in some of the things that we're talking about. I want you to be locked in for the next step, okay? So the numbers from the study, they are, you cannot refute them. In fact, I'm going to drop a link to the study in the description because I know you're curious. But women and men, they're equally dedicated and motivated to their careers. Yeah, that's a news flash, right? But women are reporting lower aspirations for promotion. We're looking around and we're noticing like, hey, I want the title, but do I want the exhaustion? Do I want the fight for visibility? Do I really want to have to negotiate or help people understand why work-life balance is important? Because I may want to work from Arizona because that's where my friends are for a week. I'll get my work done, right? Let me tell you, if it isn't motivation, what is it? It's a rational response to this environment, to the system that makes advancement feel costly. You are looking up the ladder, right? You're running the numbers and you've made a decision. You are questioning whether that decision was full of information or whether it was made from exhaustion. But either way, you could see from where you were standing that the framework and the system was never designed with you in mind. And that distinction, it matters. Women are technically more successful and more visibly exhausted at the same time. You're seeing flexibility listed as a benefit, on your company website and even touted by HR. But you know that this benefit, guess what? It comes with a penalty. You know that if you use it, you don't get any protection because only visibility is rewarded. So you try to double dutch, right? You try to get your work done and use that flex policy when you can. And let's be honest, you aren't really doing the flex policy. You aren't really using it as much as you really need to. You appreciate the midday walks. You appreciate having the ability to hop on a plane and meet your BFF in a different state for a week and work remotely. You appreciate not having the pressure to be green, right? But if you take that title, it's going to be hard to flex in the same way and still be respected. This is what we're talking about. And I didn't even touch the workload at home, right? If you are the head of household, you know that domestic work at home, it's not going to shrink when your title has changed. Now, noticing this doesn't mean that you're broken. It just means that you're calling a spade a spade. You know that the math isn't adding up the way that we were all taught that it should. And it's so interesting, right? Because we're looking around and we're trying to figure out what's going on with promotions. Is this what I want? This is like the promotion tax that no one lists in job descriptions. You get more work. You get more visibility, which sounds good until you realize that visibility without protection, it just means that more people are watching you. They're watching your every step, how you lead, what you do, when you show up. You just want to get your work done and go home. A lot of people call this a glass cliff, right? Like women are more and more often promoted into senior roles during time of crises or instability when the risk of failure is highest. So yes, we are taxing ourselves extra. When we're in the midst of a personal crisis, instead of slowing down, what are we doing? We're adding more on our plate. We're making sure all of these things are done. And guess what happens to us? We are further and further down on the to-do list. That's why we're calling it out today. I'm curious, in the midst of all these things, before you consider your next promotion, have you considered how you will protect yourself? How will you protect your time for strategy? How will you protect your time in your space for creativity? How will you do it? When will you do it? Who do you need to tell about it? Because often we accept these promotions and we just jump right in and we look up and we are exhausted, right? You know what? We think I'm a type A. How many of you are type A's? You probably think I'm not going to worry about it. The promotion will fix it. But the promotion doesn't fix it. It just repackages the problems and it adds more pressure. Winning the promotion, it can mean inheriting a situation that was set up to fail at work in the office, right? Not only because like you have to fix all these processes and you're finding that you have to deal with this visibility thing, but also you are neglecting yourself in ways that you haven't even imagined. Come on, how many of you have a granola bar at the bottom of your desk drawer just in case you can't make it to lunch? That was me. That was the life I lived. I don't want that for you. There's this other thing called achievement anxiety. Sometimes we just feel the pressure to achieve because we don't want to sit in the quiet and actually assess, is this really what we want? Often we realize when we take a step back in the workshops that I host and the women that I coach, I'm realizing that women are saying that it never feels like enough. Even if she's chasing the promotion, she's never happy with it. She's always looking for like, what's next? You're chasing it because the chase keeps a particular kind of discomfort quiet. And you know what the brutal clarifying truth is? The promotion doesn't cure that part that you keep quieting. You keep pushing it down. No, it just upgrades the arena. You're going to feel the same way with a new title, just higher stakes and less margin of error. What are you actually calculating, right? And what are you missing? You may be calculating it wrong from a position of depletion with an outdated model of what your life and your title should look like. I want you to take 5 steps back before that next promotion. Hold up the mirror and truly think to yourself, what do I need to be not only successful in this role, but successful to myself? I want you to redefine success. Does that mean going to bed at a decent hour? Does it mean actually being present when you're having dinner with your girls? Does it mean actually caring when your kid says, look, mommy, look what I made, and say, instead of just saying as a robot, that's nice. What does success actually look like? I want you to not only think about it, but write it down. So that way you are making an invisible contract, an invisible agreement with yourself. Hey, I will take this role. I will accept this promotion, but these things are important to me. And this is what I will prioritize. We got to write it down because what happens? Often we take the promotion and then we start trying to set boundaries out of defense. I'm so exhausted. I can't work with these people. I need a new team. We need new software. We need all of these things. But what do you need? I want you to take a beat and think through that. We've been taught that the promotion is what we want, but do you just want stillness? Do you just want quiet time to yourself consistently? Do you want time to think about strategy? If you do, does this promotion fill that? And if it doesn't fill that hole, that gap that you've identified, how do you make it happen? My move framework, it starts with the mirror, because before you decide whether you want that promotion, I want you to see clearly what's actually happening. And I don't want you to want it because everyone says you should. I want you to want things that are genuinely right for you, and the version of yourself that can see yourself there. Those things, those questions, I want you to write them down. They require different next moves. And if it's the first thing, that's information. I want you to trust it. And if it's that second thing I mentioned, that's a decision made from depletion. I'm just going to take this promotion because this is what people want me to do. And you know what? Decisions made from depletion, they're usually the wrong ones. I want you to own it. And then I want you to truly take a beat to figure out what works for you. These are the topics. These are the things that no one questions. These are the conversations you can't have with your best friend from high school or even your work bestie. But here, right now, we're doing it together because I'm here to help you lead yourself differently. Have a look at the article later. Try the experiment, because this is where change happens.